guys, hope you're doing well. Today I want to give you some tips about how to practice effectively. Now here's one thing, not all of us have all the time of the world to sit down and play 8 or 10 hours a day. I remember I used to do that when I was a young kid, and of course it was great, but that was then. Nowadays I don't have all the time of the world to practice myself either, and I still do practice. So with that said, here's some tips to help you be effective with your practicing so you can see some results. Tip number one would be split your time effectively. So what that means is that if you have 1 hour or 2 hours a day, for example, I would suggest you split that time into equal parts and just cover some aspects within that time frame. For example, if you have 2 hours, maybe do 20 minutes warm up, maybe do like 30 or 40 minutes scales, maybe do like 20 minutes chords or learn a new chord, and then dedicate your last half hour to or 40 minutes to jamming to your favorite songs, because it has to be fun, right? I mean, everything should be fun, but of course everybody gets a bigger kick out of just jamming over to their favorite tunes. I know I used to do a lot of that, and I would split my practicing into different zones. Basically, I would just do like 1 hour scales, 1 hour of chords, 1 hour of ear training, 1 hour of I don't know, improvising, and or like I would just do 1 hour of just learning a solo. One time, once a week, I would learn like one favorite solo of mine and just try to dig in there and find out some licks that I liked and how to play that, figure it out by ear, Tip number two, play with your ears and not your eyes. I mean, all of us guitar players fall into the loop of just looking at how fast our fingers move, and we're like, oh man, look at this, I can do this and this and this. However, it doesn't mean that it sounds cool as well. So I would suggest that you record yourself as often as possible and listen back to what it is you're doing, because you'll be surprised. Sometimes you think what you play is really cool, but when you record and hear it back, it really isn't. So, then you have to go back and start all over again and see what you did wrong and how you can improve all that. Play with a metronome, always. Whatever it is, whatever lick it is that you're practicing, I would say play with a metronome. I mean, if it is a scale, always start at slow speed, 60 BPM or whatever, and make sure to play everything slow and clean before you start raising that BPM. Practicing with a metronome will make you a much tighter player. It will really allow you to work on those licks, on your speed, your accuracy, all those things, or the coordination of both hands. So yeah, I cannot stress enough the fact that you should practice with a metronome, okay? Tip number 4, always warm up, always. You can't imagine how many players I've met during the tour or when I do the VIP lessons while on tour, and people come up to me and they tell me their hands hurt, they've had injuries, they get tendonitis. I think that's a product of not warming up properly, because everybody just want to pick up the guitar and shred. I have to say this, I can't stress this enough, that you should always warm up. I mean, I still do this every day because I look at this, I approach this as an athlete. If I get an injury, that means that I cannot play and I have to put the guitar down, and I just love to play and I can't afford to do that. So it doesn't matter whether you're a professional like me or if you're playing for fun and for a hobby, it does not matter. You don't want any injuries, so please always remember to warm up. I mean, I do a lot of warm-up routines, from the usual 1, 2, 3, 4 scales, like also run the scales up and down slowly, and just to get the blood flowing. Of course, stretch as well. Stretch your hands, stretch your fingers, Very important that you do that every time. Now, if you have a lot of time to practice, you should do a proper warm-up session, you know? Maybe I should do another more in-depth video about warming up. But if you don't have that much time and you only have like 30 minutes, you should definitely, you know, warm up at least for 10 minutes and do like trills, you know, hammer-ons. I do a lot of stuff like that also before every show, or, you know, I do stuff like trills and switch fingers. Or stuff like that. Stuff like that, you know, just to get the blood flowing, but, you know, be careful with it as well. And my last tip for today would be to try and learn every time something. Now, I know that's not easy, and a lot of times we just want to focus on what we already know and just jam away and all that, which is cool. But try to learn something new every time you pick up the guitar. You know, go on YouTube and listen to your favorite solo, or try to find out something else. You know, listen to other guitar players. You know, get some other influences, and if you like something, you know, steal a lick and try to make it your own. Try to interpret it your own way. Or, you know, try to learn a new chord every day, or at least a few times a week or something. Like, put those goals, you know, try to set, even if they're not big, they're small goals, try to set some goals and work at them every time you pick up the guitar. I promise you, you will see a lot of progress. Now, if all this info was useful, let me know by liking the video, dropping us a comment and letting us know. And yeah, if you would like to see some more stuff and have ideas, don't forget to tell us in the comments. All right, peace.